Tell us about your current role and what it involves.
Right, well, thanks for inviting me and asking me all these questions after I've eaten a load of food. Which is nice of it. Amazing. I love the Saffron Group. I was lucky enough to be asked to be an ambassador at the beginning when it started, and it was, for me, it was during lockdown. And I, at that time, had a few things that were going on that weren't particularly nice. My son had a bad jet ski accident, and I was in a bad place as a result of it. And at that time, the people within Saffron, I got to know them, and I kind of was in a position where you couldn't really leave the house, you couldn't really do much, and I built up this really strong friendship. People who are in the room now, and I really am grateful for that. And you know, it's amazing how you can become such good friends with real people. And what the Saffron Group does is it never asks for anything. I mean, apart from laughing about paying for things, paying for your meals. I think we have to tell him to do that, because for so many times he was paying for it all himself. And lovely, lovely, lovely people, and I genuinely mean that. And I don't do many of these types of things, but for Saffron, I'd walk through their walls to the people. Yeah, what do I do? Well, everyone else has got a really nice story about their business. I listen to John, and John's like a saint that's been sent down to bless us all. And what I do is a little bit like, I compare it to being a fireman without the sexy outfit. It's business recovery advice turnaround. So we only get brought in when a business owner gets to a point where they can't cope with the problems that they're having, and they need professional advice as to how to get out of it. So it tends to be a one-off scenario where you'll meet a person through an introduction for a professional. A lot more online now. A lot of social media presence is generating inquiries for people in difficulty, because it can be quite embarrassing, and people don't know who to speak to and who to trust. So we do that, and we go in, and where I think we stand out from a lot of other people is that we put the person first. We hold the hand through the scenario, and we make sure that they don't go ahead with anything unless they know their options and they know what the path's going to be like for them, and that they are protected. So that's why I do. I'm part of a bigger group, which is an accountancy group. We do audit and tax, and we're a national firm. It's quite a well-known firm, AMS. But like I said, I head up the insolvency side.
What advice would you give to someone thinking about getting involved in your sector?
I think it's an amazing sector to be in. I mean, there's accountancy, which was always a bit boring for me, and forgive me for any accountants there, but it was just specifically just numbers. I quite like the advisory side, where you get to see so many different types of businesses and understand their journey, how they've got to where they are in their lives. And you know, I've helped businesses from flower shops to football clubs. I was involved in Leeds United restructure, and there's a couple of other ones. I was a partner of Begbie's Training, so we got appointed in a lot of big high-profile hotel chains. But I like the day-to-day contact with business owners and being able to reassure them that there are ways of dealing with the problems that they're in, which at the time seemed insurmountable.
If you could explore another role or work in a completely different field, what would it be?
Well, I've done a bit of modelling. Apart from modelling, no.
You've got your finger back now.
I was going to say, yeah. No, I like sports. I'm a lover of sports, and I played football to an all right level, but not good enough. I'd love to have done something in sport a little bit, a bit more advanced than what I was capable of.
Have you had a mentor who has had an impact on your professional journey?
Yes, I mean, I started when I was 16, and it was by a mistake I ended up at an insolvency practice. I was going to become a journalist. That was my dream, and I took a job initially, and I liked the person who was the boss, and he drove a convertible posh car. He had the most beautiful looking wife in the office, and he had so much charisma, and I thought, oh, I'd love to be like that person. And I think, and he was like a father to me, and he showed me, he polished a lot of the rough edges that I have and probably still have, and showed me what can be achieved if you put your mind to it.
Past or present, who would you most like to share a career with?
Past or present? I'd like Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm a massive Man United fan, so I'd love to have a career with Sir Alex. But yeah, past. I mean, there are obvious people, the obvious leaders of countries, and I think Ronald Reagan. I'd like to have had a career with Ronald Reagan because he was an actor and he was obviously he was a president as well. So something like that.
What are the traditional home colours?
Red and white. Red shirt, white shorts, black socks.
Okay, and what is the stadium called?
Old Trafford.
All right, and so who is United's all-time leading goal scorer?
Wayne Rooney.
Is it really?
Yeah, he overtook Sir Bobby Charlton.
So, who famously wore the number 7 shirt?
Well, originally, or who wore it? There's been a few, hasn't there?
Before Ronaldo.
Best wore it at one point, and David Beckham, Eric Cantona, Brian Robson.
What was Ferguson's first trophy?
First trophy was the FA Cup 1990. Beat Crystal Palace 1-0. Was it Crystal Palace 1-0 in the replay after a 3-3 draw?
Jeez.
Who did Manchester United sign from Leeds United in 2000?
From Leeds United.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand after the World Cup.
How's he doing?
How am I doing? Everyone's right. That's how I'm doing.
It's not hard enough. And what year do you think United will actually get back into the top 4?
Top 4?
Okay, fine. We'll give it to you. Top 8. Top 8.
No, I think top 4 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. Don't think they're that far off now. A couple of signings, changed to the formation of it. They need some players in certain areas.
Right, so we hold them accountable for that.
Classic.
Mohammed, go on.
As United to United,
Yeah.
who's your favourite player? I'm talking about the history
Of all time?
Of all time.
Well, Brian Robson was my hero when I was a kid because I was born in '75, so he joined in 1981 from West Brom,
Yeah.
and he basically was my hero. But I think all-time favourite player to date, probably I like Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, since then, since Brian Robson.